Okay, today we continued solving word problems, and the information that they're giving us may be a little bit more difficult to interpret. So let's just go through. I'm going to be doing 6, 7, and 8 from the worksheet. Mr. May invested $21,000, part at 8% and the rest at 6%. If the annual income from both investments were equal, find the amount invested at each rate. So the first thing I'm going to do is set up a let statement. And I have an 8% investment account, and I also have a 6% investment account. So I'm just going to make the 8% X and the 6% Y. I'm not sure how much I invested in each one. Now let me see what information I'm given. I'm told that I have $21,000 to invest in total. Well, I put part of that in the 8% and part of that in the 6% investment. So I could say that X plus Y, those two investment accounts, total the $21,000. Some of it's in the 8%, some of it is in the 6%. So my next piece of information, if the annual income from both investments were equal. So my annual income for the 8% is going to be 0.08 times the amount I invested. And if that is going to equal the 0.06y, this is what I would have for my second equation. So just remember, when I have a percent, I have to convert it into decimal. All right, this is a complicated problem. I personally would solve using substitution. So I would take my first equation, x plus y equal to 21,000, and I'm just going to solve for x. So I'm going to get x to equal 21,000 minus y. Now, every time in the second equation I see an x, I am going to substitute in 21,000 minus y. And again, there's many ways that we can do this. I am just trying to do it the simplest way that I see it. And this is the way I see it. Now I'm going to take this and distribute. And I'm going to get 1,680 minus 0.08y is equal to 0.06y. I'm going to add 0.08y to both sides. And I'm going to get 1,680 is equal to 0.14y. And again, we have the use of the calculator, so take each side divided by 0.14. And I'm going to get y to equal $12,000. Okay, so if I think now y is equal to 12,000, I need to find how much money did I put in the 8% investment. So I'm going to do the x plus y to equal 21,000. And if I know y is equal to 12,000, I'm going to solve for x. Subtract the 12,000 from both sides, and I get x to equal $9,000. So again, I believe this is going to be the answer. But again, I always want to check. So now let's do the check, and the check I'm going to write in blue. If I take 0.08 times my 9,000 investment plus 0.06 times my 12,000 investment, that should equal, I ran out of room, I apologize, that should equal these should equal each other, I apologize. So 0.08 times 9,000 equals 0.06 times my 12,000. 0.08 times 9,000, I get 720. 0.06 times 12,000, I get 720, and the investments are equal. So therefore, I know I did number 6 correct. Please make sure you show me the let statement and show me all of the correct answers within the let statement. Okay, let's go on to the next one. So now here I'm dealing with a supermarket. 3 pounds of squash and 2 pounds of eggplant cost $2.85. 4 pounds of squash and 5 pounds of eggplant is $5.41. What is the cost per pound of the squash and the eggplant? So again, let's make a let statement. So because I am a little forgetful sometimes, I'm going to let squash equal S and eggplant equal E. That way I know exactly what I'm solving for. And now, what information do they tell me? 3 pounds of squash, 2 pounds of eggplant equals $2.85. And then I have 4 pounds of squash and 5 pounds of eggplant that equal $5.41. So that is going to be my setup. When I take a look at this, I would not want to attempt this using substitution, so I am going to use the elimination method. And what I'm allowed to do is eliminate one of the variables. The one that I would like to eliminate, I think, are the e's, so I'm going to multiply the top guy by 5 and the bottom one by a -2. That way my e's would be eliminated. So when I do the top one by 5, I get 15s plus 10e to equal $14.25. Then I have -8s minus 10e to equal -$10.82. Again, my e's now cancel out, and I'm left with 7s to equal $3.43. Divide both sides by 7, and I get my squash to equal 49 cents a pound. And again, please remember to show me the dollar sign. So I think my squash here is 49 cents a pound. Okay, let us now substitute in to find my eggplant. So I'm going to use my first equation to now solve for eggplant. So 3 times 0.49 plus 2e equals $2.85. I'm going to get 98 plus 2e to equal $2.85. And I work this through, and I get 2e to equal $1.38. Divide both sides by 2, and I get my eggplant to be 69 cents a pound. Again, we're going to perform a check, and I'm going to make sure my check works. So my check is saying 4 times 49 cents a pound plus 5 times 69 cents a pound should equal $5.41. I get $1.96 plus $3.45 to equal $5.41. And sure enough, my check works. And the beauty is once you know your check works, you know you have a correct problem. And again, make sure that you box in your let statement. Okay, question number 8 is my ticket sales again. On the first day that tickets to a school play are sold, 100 tickets were sold for $230. Adult tickets cost $3 each and student tickets cost $2 each. How many of each kind of ticket were sold? So again, my let statement, I'm going to have let adult tickets equal A and student tickets equal S. My adult tickets cost $3 and my student tickets cost $2. Again, I'd like to write that in for my own information. Alright, now let's think. How many tickets in total did I sell? And I sold 100. So I know my adult plus my student has to equal 100 tickets. There were 100 people in the auditorium. How much money did I make? $3 times the adult, $2 times the student has to equal my $230. So that would be my equation for this one. Personally, I like to use elimination, so I'm going to take my top equation and multiply it by a -3 to eliminate my a's. And I'm going to multiply that through, rewrite that bottom equation. And now I end up with -1s to equal -100. I'm sorry, -70. Divide by a -1, and I'm going to get s to equal 70, which is telling me that I sold 70 student tickets. How many adult tickets did I sell? Well, I'm going to substitute the 70 in for s, and I'm going to find that I sold 30 adult tickets. And again, I'm going to put that in my let statement. I am now going to perform a check to make sure my money works out. So if I take 3 times the 30, which is the adult tickets, plus 2 times the 70, which is the student tickets. That should equal $230. And I have 90 plus the 140. Does that equal 230? And I do. I get 230 to equal 230, and the check works. Again, if you end up with a negative number, that would never make sense. You would have to go back and make sure that you are correct. And just make sure that all of your numbers, you can't have half a person, half a ticket. Make sure all of your numbers work out to something that makes sense.